everyone, and welcome to the College Guys Sports Podcast, NCAA edition. Well, I mean, kind of. For all you guys looking for like spring practices and stuff like that, that's not here. This is the NCAA football / NFL draft edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Weiss, and today my co-host is Thomas Brown. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, what's up, man? Pretty tired, but I'm excited to do this podcast. We got the hybrid edition today.
Well, it's going to be the hybrid edition for a while until we get to, I guess, like August. So we talk about like preseason top 25 and all that mumbo jumbo. That really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do some college basketball podcast, but this was a college football podcast.
Yeah, no one cares about basketball in America. Are you kidding me?
I think you have us confused for a different country.
Yeah. No, football is where it's at, man.
Yeah, but I mean, today we were talking about NFL draft, and we're talking more specifically about this year's running back class and how they go to the NFL, where we see them each projected, and like team needs, that type of thing. So let's jump right into it, Thomas. Give me your top 5 running backs in this year's draft class.
Well, 2015 was the year of the running back, and there were a lot of good choices to pick from. Do you want me to break down each one, or just give you?
Just give me the top 5 right now, and we'll get into it a little later. So give me what's your 1 through 5 as you have it right now?
All right, number 1, I've got Ezekiel Elliott, running back from Ohio State. Number 2, I've got Kenneth Dixon. For those of you who don't know, he's the running back from Louisiana Tech. Number 3, we've got Derrick Henry. You should know who he is, Heisman Trophy winner, Alabama running back. Number 4, I've got Utah running back Devonta Booker, and at number 5, I've got Arkansas running back, their number 1 running back, since they have 2 good backs, Alex Collins.
Yeah, those are pretty similar, except for we have the same guys except for one, a little bit different order I have them. I would put Elliott 1, then Dixon 2. I'd have Booker 3, Henry 4, and then Jordan Howard 5. For me, I mean, you know me, I'm not an SEC fan, don't like him at all, don't like Alabama, and I kind of don't want to have Henry in my top 5, but at the same time, the dude won the Heisman, rushed a lot of yards, but I want to go with my gut and say I wouldn't have Henry at 6 at the highest for me is what
You can't spite him though. You gotta.
I'm just part of it's spite and part of it. I wouldn't say spite's a big of a deal, but like from what I don't know. We'll talk about what I think he'll be in the pros later, but I have him 4. 4 is where I put him. But let's talk about the guy we have. Both number 1, consensus number 1, I think, for everyone as far as it goes with running backs. Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State. I mean, if I'm going to spite anyone, it's going to be that dude because, screw Ohio State. But yeah, me and you both have the number 1 guys, so does everyone else in the country. What do you think about him?
Well, Ezekiel Elliott, I would say the biggest reason he's the number 1 back is because he's the most complete. He's got a great burst of speed. He can get to the outside. He has great vision, and he can make really, really good cuts. He loves contact. He always leads with his shoulder. He always, when I played football, our coaches, they always would say, take the fight to them. That's what Ezekiel Elliott does. He takes the fight to the defenders. The only thing that I do not like about him, before I go into my cons, one thing that I do want to note, he has 200-yard games against Alabama, Wisconsin, and Michigan in his career, which is phenomenal, considering how good their defenses are. I'll get into my cons about him. The only thing I'm not too high on Ezekiel Elliott is it's more of the intangibles. He took a lot of hits in his career. He took about 600 hits in his collegiate career. Can't really change that. There's also a lot of questions about his maturity after that loss to Michigan State.
Well, yeah, when he was giving me the ball or just 13 carries, I need more carries, something like that.
Yeah, and I can understand totally you're a playmaker and you want the ball in your hands. I'm not saying I'm not calling him a bad guy for that. I'm just saying that gives me that kind of gives me red flags as okay, is he a team player? Is he a leader? Is he a lot is he for the team? Is he a locker room guy? That's just the only thing that kind of makes me kind of step back. I'm maybe not, maybe not Ezekiel Elliott. But what do you think about him, Ryan?
I like him. He's definitely, like as we said before, I keep stating it, it's sounding redundant, but he's definitely the best running back in this class. Uh, he's definitely worth a first round pick in my eyes. I mean, he ran that 4.47 at the combine, which I don't think is really indicative of his speed because that dude gets to the second level really, he hits the hole hard, and I think he gets to the second level faster than anyone in the nation. And I think that skill translates well to the NFL because he finds the hole. He's a one cut guy, and he finds that hole and he hits it hard. And he, like you said, he runs through tackles. He's a decent receiver out of the backfield. I think, yeah, I wouldn't say he's most complete back in this year's draft, but he's definitely close to it. I like the way he translates to the NFL. I definitely can see him making Pro Bowls like that. That being said, I know a lot of people are like, now that the Eagles traded Murray, that they might pick him at 13. I think it's a little too high for him. I think he's the latter half of the first round, but we'll get into that a little more later with team needs. But I definitely think he's worth that first round pick, especially he had a good combine. He showed why he really showed why he's the best running back in this class with his combine and all the numbers he put up that day.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if Philadelphia drafted Elliott
I
just for
mean,
you?
I hate cheering for Ohio State players. But yeah. So our next running back in this year's class, we both have number 2, would be Mr. Kenneth Dixon, who played for Louisiana Tech and with your old buddy Jeff Driscoll.
Shouts to him.
Booker at one point this year for about 2 weeks when his career ended had the NCAA record for touchdowns. And
You mean Dixon? You said Booker.
did I say Booker? Sorry.
Yeah.
Getting ahead of myself. Yeah. Dixon had the NCAA record for touchdowns in a career and for all-time points not scored by a kicker. He had 87 touchdowns and 522 points. Now, I mean, he was fighting with that back and forth all year with Cam Reynolds, the quarterback from Navy, and he held that for about 2 weeks or so until Navy played their bowl game. But, I mean, Dixon was Mr. Do-It-All at Louisiana Tech. I mean, big, bulky back, could catch out of the backfield. Doesn't really have that second level speed. Only ran a 4.58 at the 40. Not great. He had 18 reps which is pretty good for a running back 225. 37.5-inch vertical. He's got the athleticism. Probably doesn't have that speed that burst to really separate him from defenders in the second level of the NFL once he gets to the secondary. But I mean, he's Mr. Do-It-All. He does dance a little too much for a guy his size. He needs to find the hole, and hopefully he realizes that once he's in the NFL that he's not playing UL Lafayette or Idaho or whoever's in the Sun Belt anymore. That conference changes a lot. But yeah, I think he's a third down back in the NFL, but at the same time, that's not a really bad thing. I think a third down back's a huge thing what you need in the league now. I can see him being every down back. A certain team, like I don't think he's a 300 type carry guy in the NFL, partly because he's had already over 900 touches in his time in college. But I think I would spend a second round pick on him. I think he definitely if you want to make him, I think at his lowest, he's like a Bilal Powell type guy who only comes in the third down. But I can see him being, I wouldn't say feature back, but maybe a guy who gets 2/3 of the carries.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a great supplemental back. I do have questions about him being a every down back. He had a knee injury in 2013, and then he missed 2 weeks in 2015 with an ankle injury. I just had questions about his durability. One thing I will say is that this guy does it all. 19 touchdowns on the ground, and he caught by far the most passes out of a running back in this draft. He caught 467 yards and 7 touchdowns, which that tells me like, hey, we need to get this guy like the ball out of the backfield.
Get him out in space, stuff like that. Kind of like Matt Forte.
Definitely. I didn't compare him to Matt Forte, but the comparison I made was to Jeremy Langford. Similar size. I've seen tapes of both of them, similar running style. Yeah, I do think Kenneth Dixon is he's worthy of a second round pick, definitely.
Yeah, Dixon's one of those guys who can really be a difference maker on a team, but I don't think he's gonna be a bad player, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's nothing more than a third down back in the NFL. All right, let's get to your third running back on the list, and my most controversial guy in this draft. I would not touch him until the fourth round at the highest. I'm even then, it's depending on what's on my board and if my team needs a running back. Mr. Heisman, Derrick Henry. I I'll go in on him before and rant before him. Granted, he ran faster at the combine than I thought he would. He ran a 4.54, which I mean I didn't think he'd get under 4.6, which is really good. They showed NFL Network showed his stats next to Miller's at the combine, and like they're pretty much identical. And it's like, oh, it's like tackling a linebacker, but at the same time, it's like, would you really hand the ball off to Von Miller? Like, I don't see the Broncos moving Von Miller running because as much as athletic freak as Von Miller is, he's not outrunning many people in the secondary. But that's not why I don't like him. That's one of my points. I just watched him on the tape. This dude has trouble getting to the edge in college football. I mean, granted, the SEC, great defense.
Still not the NFL.
Even though they allow 40 points every freaking game with no quarterbacks in that league. How do you have the best defense? The best defense is all conference, but everyone's scoring 30, 40 points a game when there's no quarterbacks in that league.
That's another podcast, Ryan.
Anyways, yeah, but he has trouble. Granted, he runs over a lot of people, but he's one. Some guys one cut back is good, but I think he's slow getting to the hole. I don't think he has the best vision, but my biggest problem is he can't get to the edge. He doesn't. This isn't Robert Kimdichi. Not Robert. What's his brother's name? What's Kimdichi's brother's name? Whatever. This isn't Kimdichi at Ole Miss, linebacker setting the edge, or the best linebacker at LSU or Florida, guys like that. Like you have Levante David and Von Miller and all these other guys who get upfield, and Fletcher Cox. Could you imagine him like playing for Dallas and trying to get past Fletcher Cox? Would run him down. When I watch Henry on tape, I see a guy who doesn't really catch out of the backfield well, can block but doesn't catch, which is a huge part for me for my running back. I want my running back to be able to catch the ball like a receiver. And I watched him on film, and what he is now, I think, is what DeMarco Murray was last year. Now, I mean, if granted Murray was disappointing because of his contract, but I think with all his hype coming out, he'd be just as disappointing. What Murray did this year is what I see Henry doing his whole career. At best, I would not take him before the fourth round.
I'm pretty split on Derrick Henry. I don't absolutely despise him like you. I'm not in love with him like 90% of the rest of the college football world and the NFL world. I'll start with the good things. Derrick Henry is a phenomenal north and south runner. He hits the hole hard. Like you said, he runs over people. He has a great stiff arm. And then, of course, he's big, which there's pros and cons of being big. He can block well. I think he'll be durable. I think he's a bruising back that people really aren't going to want to tackle. On the other hand, it's like you said, can he get to the edge? And it's not just the edge. Another question I had about Derrick Henry is, can he work well in really tight spaces? Can he get skinny? Can he hit the hole when, there's only about 6 inches of a hole to hit? I actually have relatives that are Alabama fans, and living down here in Florida, I talk to a lot of Alabama fans. They always say, oh, he's got the SEC record. He rushed for 2,200 yards. And I'm like, yes.
Well, if I'm giving you 40 carries a game, you better get to 200 yards.
Yes. It's like, yeah, he did get the record, but he ran 395 times. That is a lot of carries. That's like over 100 versus, anywhere else. I think the only person close to Derrick Henry's total was Booker's carries, and that's because that's literally all they did at Utah was run.
And Booker
But
played like 5 years, right? Something like that. He played like 2 years
yeah,
at JUCO. Yeah, I mean,
um, but that's a lot of hits you're taking. I don't really think you can do that in the NFL. You can't run it 40 times a game. That's how Derrick Henry made his living. He would run it over and over again, and the defense will get tired, and they get worn out. You can't really do that in the NFL. Especially it's not like the old days where NFL was run first. NFL is more of a pass first league now. I have Derrick Henry going third because there is one bright spot as far as like against his cons, like getting to the edge and getting skinny. He did run the 40 time, like you said. My comparison I made to him was to LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount's also a big back. He's 3 inches shorter, but he did those things. Like LeGarrette Blount can get skinny. He can get skinny in the hole. So like if Derrick Henry, if he can just work on his cons, if he can just get faster, even losing weight, if he can just get faster and get to the edge, if he can just get skinny in those holes, I can see him being a good back in the NFL. I'm not going to bite on the hype, but I'm not going to completely write him off. I need to see first. I need to see how he translates. I say third round pick. That's what I'd say for Derrick Henry.
No, I've seen some guys are probably. Would not be shocked at all if Henry goes in the first round. Granted, I think that GM should be fired on the spot, but just what I'm hearing, he might go in the first round. He's definitely not going back to the second round. But no. I 100% agree with you on the he can't hit on the getting skinny thing. I don't think he's very good at finding the hole.
I was saying, like, because I asked you before the podcast, I was like, should I do based on what other people are projecting or my projections? That's like where I would take him. I'd maybe bite him in the third round. Do I think he's going to be a first or second round pick? Absolutely, because people love this guy. But he's a college style running back. He just runs over you, and you can't do that in the NFL. Everyone's too big, everyone's too good. For Derrick Henry, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be like Adrian Peterson type guy at Oklahoma to realize, holy crap, this dude doesn't matter what, he's already a man. He's going to run over other men.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll get to my number 3 guy, who you have a special place in your heart for, is Devonta Booker. Well, I will let you go first since he's like kind of been your guy over the past couple of years.
Oh yeah, dude, I got so much love for this guy. I would have Booker at my number 2, definitely above Henry and definitely above Dixon. I'll get to why I don't have him at number 2 and why I have him number 4 when I get to the cons. He's a lot like Dixon. He's similar size. He's 5'11". He's 212. He's really, really versatile. For those of you who don't know, Dennis Erickson is actually on Utah's coaching staff right now. He's co-offensive coordinator, and he said in an interview that Booker, out of all the running backs he's coached, has had the best hands that he's ever seen. I would say Devonta Booker's got the best hands in this class, definitely. Great versatility.
I don't agree with that. I love Booker, but I don't agree with that.
See, we can agree to disagree then.
CJ Prosise is the best hands in this draft class, but continue.
Oh yeah, okay. I was just saying. But yeah, he's got great versatility. I think
CJ Prosise is a running back.
I think anyone could benefit from, and I said this about Dixon too, but anyone could benefit from drafting Booker because he can be your third down guy. He can catch passes out of the backfield. I told you earlier in the year that he reminds me of Arian Foster. He's really smooth. He runs really smooth like him, but he can also be a bruising back. I really think he can be like a do-it-all kind of guy. My cons is, number 1, he is 24, and we talked about this in the other podcast, but the cutoff age for running backs in the NFL is about 30. Not a very big window for prime time, for running backs. He's taken a lot of hits. Same con as Derrick Henry's had, because at Utah, there was weeks where he'd get 35, 36 carries a game, really putting the team on his back. He's taken a lot of hits over his span.
So you remember it was the Arizona State game? And, like, he wasn't doing anything all night. He had, like, 20 carries for, like, 50 yards or something like that. And then he burst off that one big run at the very end to get to, like, 110 yards or something like that. Right? And then, because, like, Utah won, like, it was an ugly game with all the rain sources teams. And, like, oh, Booker carries Utah to victory again. And we watched that game. We're like, Booker was horrible that game.
Yeah, Booker was bad. He actually had 20 carries for 17 yards, but then he had a second touchdown run that was really big, if you remember, off of that speed option. And then he finished with like 2 touchdowns and like 127 yards or something like that. I was like, wow. But yeah, it's the age, and then he got injured against Arizona. And the last thing that I would say is a con for Devonta Booker is he's a little undersized. Or should I say a little? He's kind of borderline. Again, like I said with Kenneth Dixon, I don't know if Booker could be every down kind of back. I like him better as a third down back. What do you think?
Quick side story before I get into what I think about Devonta Booker. I was driving home during the Arizona-Utah game, and you texted me about Booker getting hurt. And I'm like, he rolled his ankle the other day, but he's not even active this game. And I'm like, how did he get hurt? Because as a Suns fan, you say D Booker, and I'm thinking Devin Booker.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Devin Booker's not even active for this game. I think we were playing. I can't remember the Clippers or something like that. I'm like, Devin Booker's not even active. How is he injured?
I was so confused.
Yeah, because I sent a text. I'm like, what are you talking? And I was like, oh, he meant Devonta Booker.
Yeah.
So we have done that mix-up a couple of times. I'm assuming I'll do it in the next 5 minutes. I'm talking about Devonta. But yeah, I agree with you on almost everything. I would definitely have Booker as the second back in this year's draft. But like you said, he's 24. He's already got a lot of carries, and injury history is already kind of catching up to him. But I think he's a complete back. I don't think he's just a third down back. But he's definitely great in that third, because third down backs, you have to be able to block, you have to be able to pass catch. And I think Booker's the most complete back in this draft class. If I needed some guy to milk for the next 3 years to get everything I could out of him on the rookie deal before it all goes kaput, I draft Booker and hitch my way into him. He's a great receiver. He's a great runner. Like you said, the Arian Foster. When I first watched him, I'm like, get out of here, Arian Foster. But then I watched him. Like, he's got the exact same running size, exact same game. I think he is the next generation's Arian Foster. I really have fallen in love with Devin Booker in this past season.
You did do it.
I did say Devin Booker. Well, I really have fallen in love with Devin Booker. He's my whole franchise at this point, pretty much. Yeah, oh God,
because
I knew I was gonna do it, but I wasn't lying either. I do love Devin Booker.
You used to accuse me of being a homer all the time, especially in 2014. You were like, because I was like, oh yeah, Devonta Booker, like he's the best.
Yes, I was. I was like, get out of here, Devonta Booker's the best back.
And you were just like, no. I was like, he made all Pac-12 first team. And he's like, nah, you're full of crap, Thomas. Like, he's not that good. Like, he won't get drafted.
You're also the same guy who said, crap, I can't remember his name.
Riley over Anthony Barr.
Trevor Riley over Anthony Barr, who's now like a Pro Bowl linebacker.
He had better stats.
And Trevor Riley would go in the first round, and he ended up going in the 7th round. So like,
I didn't say he go in the first round.
You said he should have. I showed you my first mock draft, and you were like, where is Trevor Riley? And you were legit pissed. You like weren't joking. Where's Trevor Riley?
Because I saw Anthony Barr, I was like, Trevor Riley has better stats than this guy. But then,
Anthony Barr went 11 to the Vikings, and now he's like a Pro Bowl impact player on the Vikings defense.
I know.
Trevor Riley's on like the Jets practice squad.
I hate.
But yeah, I do love Devin Booker, and I do love Devonta Booker. But Devonta Booker, none of these guys in the Leonard Fournette's not even the best running back in the nation right now. You know damn well who I'm talking about. I won't even say his name either. You know who I'm talking about.
You know he's gonna tear his ACL week 1, right? And then
no, he's not. Oh yeah, all right. But then we already had the number one recruit in the nation this year. But then we have Saquon Barkley. In case you didn't pick that up, Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the nation, not Leonard Fournette or Nick Chubb. Screw you, Georgia. And
Saquon Barkley is going to be just like Hackenberg. He had an amazing freshman season, then he's going to disappear.
Saquon Barkley is winning the Heisman in the next 2 years before he gets out of here.
We'll see, Ryan.
But yeah, I mean, I love Devonta Booker and how he translates to the NFL. But the injuries and the age kind of scares me. All right, now on to that was my third. That was fourth. Okay. Now we're on to our fifth running backs. Your fifth running back is Alex Collins.
Yes. My bad.
Would you like to elaborate on Alex Collins?
Alex Collins, what I see for him, he has a really great startup speed. It's really quick first step, great acceleration. He's got really good patience. That's one thing I noticed because I did watch quite a few Arkansas games, and I made sure to watch his tape again. Got really great. Yeah.
I did not watch Arkansas games. I found them incredibly boring and not worth the time.
Yeah, especially that Ole Miss one, but we'll talk about that
Nope,
later.
not gonna watch it. Not gonna watch it. Right. Something about to go. Not gonna watch it.
Um, I think on the cons, he runs tall sometimes. Like he really runs upright. He needs to have better ball security. But other than that, I like him a little bit better than Jordan Howard. I think he hits the hole harder. No disrespect to Jordan Howard or anything, but there's not really one like defining thing about that Alex Collins has above Jordan Howard, like where it's like, oh, like this is why he's a bad.
For a second.
It's like he just does everything a little bit better, I feel like. But that's just my opinion.
I think Alex Collins is prototype pro style. Like if you put Alex Collins on, well, I was gonna say the Jets, but I'm thinking Rex Ryan, Smash Mouth Jets. But if like he's prototype pro offense, I formation, shove it down your throat, one cut back. I think Collins could be very good. I think he's one of those guys, first and second down back. Get you your 4 yards, get you your 5 yards, take him out, let someone in come out for third down. I don't see him as a feature back, but I see him as a very nice, strong goal line type back. 4.59 40, not that great. 18 reps, all right. Yeah, I like Collins. I don't have him in my top 5, but I wouldn't say he's a bad back. I have him as a higher rating than Henry, but again, I can't really. It can't have the Heisman winner not ranked in your top 5, I guess. The 1 year, the year Troy Smith won the Heisman, he went in the 6th round. But yeah,
we all know McCaffrey should have won, but we won't rant about that.
Oh yeah, oh crap! Why'd you even bring that up? Now I really want to rant about it, but I won't. So I'll talk about my 5th ranked guy, Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is the best blocking running back in the draft, no question. That dude can stonewall some DNs. I think he's going to be able to do it in the NFL. I think he is the best third down running back in this draft class, bar none. I mean, look what he did against Michigan. He almost single-handedly won the game against Michigan. That dude was a monster in that game. Indiana's offense really suffered when he was out with the injury. He's still got the ankle problem, whatever it was. I think he's still dealing with it right now. But I really like Jordan Howard as a third down back in the NFL. Maybe like pair him with the Raiders, I guess, like Latavius Murray. So I like Jordan Howard, how he translates especially blocking is so underrated for a running back, in my opinion, for the NFL, because like your quarterback, like the hot read, he makes that on third down. He's got the blitz. He's like calling out the guys. Blah. Your main assignment as a running back on third down, even if you're going out for a pass, you have to at least chip some guy. And I know if I'm playing the Raiders or playing whoever, like if I'm playing the Eagles or the Cowboys, if DeMarcus Lawrence or Khalil Mack or Vinny Curry's coming, I know if my whole offensive line breaks down and those guys are coming straight at my court, if I'm the quarterback and Jordan Howard's next to me, I know I'm not getting hit because Jordan Howard is going to stonewall him.
I agree with you 100% on Jordan Howard being the best blocker in the draft. I really think you can make an argument that Jordan Howard would be like, he's not like, I'm looking at his numbers, like he only had 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns, like nothing like really too flashy. But he's like a really good like utility back. Like, yeah, he might not put up the best numbers, but he's going to be in the game, like working his ass off. He's going to make those blocks. He's going to get those touchdowns when it counts. You brought up a great point with that with Michigan. Michigan has a great defense, and he really tore them up. My big thing with Jordan Howard, the problem I have is he comes off to me as like a one-speed runner. Like, he really needs to work on his cuts, in my opinion. If he's running in a pro-style offense, I think he'll be fine. But as the NFL, moves closer and closer towards, I mean, it's already a pass-first league, and as more teams, adopt the spread. I really think he needs to work on his cuts and his elusiveness, especially in open space.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with you on that part. All right, so we went through our top five. Want to touch on some guys real quick that weren't in our top five that we kind of want to talk about a little. Kenyan Drake, I'll know him from Alabama. I'm not really sure he's a wide receiver. I'm not really sure he's a running back in the NFL. He's one of those guys who like caught all passes out the backfield. Is a versatile kick returner. I think that's where he'll make a team is because as the returning kicks and stuff like that. But yeah, he's not a strong guy. Only 10 reps at the combine, so that kind of tells me that he's more of a wide receiver in the NFL. Maybe like not obviously not the same speed as like D'Anthony Thomas, Jackson McCluster, but I think that type of role. But I could see him in the backfield a lot more.
I was gonna say I was gonna make a comparison to him to Darren Sproles. Obviously, like Drake's not 5'6", but like kind of a do everything kind of guy.
Sproles is still Sproles is like 32. He gets the ball. He jumps out like a cannonball.
Mm-hmm.
Sproles is a very underrated running back with the running with the ball. Paul Perkins. Do you have anything about him? I know you're a Pac-12 guy.
Paul Perkins had a great year in 2014. Led the Pac-12 in rushing. Kind of fell off 2015. Really, a lot of the problems we've addressed with most of these running backs anyway. He does a really good job of getting skinny. He's a smaller back. I think he dances a little too much. Just get bigger and run harder. That's the only thing I really have to say to Paul Perkins. I watched Paul Perkins a lot. I was never really like that. I wasn't that hyped up on him. Like a lot of people thought he was going to be top 5 or 6, like go within the first 3 rounds. But I never was too big on Paul Perkins.
You hear that, Paul Perkins? Thomas Brown says you're a disappointment and get your act together from 2014. You suck. Screw you. From Thomas Brown.
Nice.
Go find him.
Yeah. One Pac-12 running back that I do want to talk about is DJ Foster. I thought after 2014, he plays for Arizona State. He's kind of like we just talked about Drake. He's kind of a do-everything kind of guy. DJ Foster, he lines up in the backfield. He can run the ball. He had reps at slot. Like he's really versatile. I'm not an Arizona State fan. I kind of hate Arizona State because before this year, we've always kind of lost to them. But I always had respect for DJ Foster. He had a really quiet year in 2015, and right now he's projected to go as a 7th rounder. But I do think he could do some work in the NFL. I was just disappointed. I really wanted to see him do a lot better. Arizona State as a team kind of faltered in 2015. But I put him as an honorable mention for this class. I think he's pretty underrated. I'd like to see a lot from him.
Yeah, one guy I mentioned him earlier. One guy I really want to talk about. Like I said, mentioned him earlier. CJ Prosise from Notre Dame used to be a wide receiver, and I said he's the best hands in this class. I love him as a receiver out the backfield. I think if you get him in like the 3rd round, especially for a team like the Colts, I think if Andrew Luck could get CJ Prosise and because with that leaky offensive line. If Andrew Luck has a guy like Prosise where he can just dump the ball off to when he needs to get rid of it to save his life, he's just explosive, has great vision. I think Prosise is a lot of teams could use him in a lot of different ways. I think he's more like Darren Sproles than Kenyan Drake is. I like CJ Prosise a lot out of this draft.
Yeah, with Drake, I wasn't obviously Drake's bigger. I was just saying I was saying Drake could be like a Sproles, like he does everything type of guy. And I just want to make that clear.
Cool. All right. Well, before we get out of here, I guess we should talk about some teams that are looking to draft a running back in this class. I mean, you have teams like Tennessee. I know they just traded for DeMarco Murray, but I mean, Murray is we talked about it on the free agency podcast. He's a little. You don't know how much they have left in the tank, and they could use a 3rd down back because Antonio Andrews should be a fullback, and Bishop Sankey is apparently out of the NFL. Giants need a running back. I guess Rashad Jennings doesn't get it all. Andre Williams might be the worst running back in the NFL. Philadelphia maybe in the running back market. They're still Ryan Matthews still on the trading block. You don't know if he's gone there. Darren Sproles is getting up there. Dallas definitely in the market with Darren McFadden being their feature back. The Jets with Chris Ivory gone and Bilal Powell still a free agent. I mean, Stephen Ridley, the only guy they have under contract, Zach Stacy. Zach Stacy's not a feature back. Houston, now that they have Arian Foster's gone. Miami with Lamar Miller are gone. Cleveland, they just have Duke Johnson, but you might need it. Obviously, a lot of this is depending on what happens with free agency. But any other teams you think might need a running back?
No, you covered all of mine actually. I was gonna say my number one team that needed a running back is the Jets because they're, I mean, obviously free agency hasn't officially like the actual signing hasn't gone down yet, but they're losing Chris Ivory. Say like your best back after that, Stephen Ridley. I was gonna say Jets need a running back the most. But yeah, the other teams, I had Tennessee in mind, I had Dallas, I had the Giants, I had the Texans, but you covered everything.
Because I'm a genius. I know all of Thomas. So that will about do it for our College Guys Sports Podcast, NCAA Football Edition. Kind of NFL Draft Edition, more like it, but it's April, or it's March leading to April. Of course, the NCAA is going to be about NFL Draft. If you like the podcast, you didn't like it, comment down below. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what we can do to improve the show in the future. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening to the College Guys Sports Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Devonta Booker, not Devin Booker.
Yeah, we know.